Hi, I'm Caleb Feline, self-confessed Levatic and apparent libtard. Now, last week I did a video on the importance of not calling one another Trumptards and libtards, as it creates this atmosphere where another person's opinion is not as important simply because it's not the same opinion as ours. Now, I wanted to continue on that and do a follow-up and continue talking about opinions, and the opinions specifically of younger people. Now, by young, I don't mean like 10 and 11 year olds. Their opinions on most political matters mostly consist of, what you talking about? I'm talking about millennials. Now, millennials are a group that is ridiculed and made fun of, mostly because people think of millennials as being teenagers when they're not. Teenagers are not actually millennials. I myself am not a millennial. Do not let this full manly beard confuse you or fool you. I'm not actually old enough to be classed as a millennial. I am what one would call a Generation Y or Generation Z. Now, millennials represent a seismic disruption in the demographic of politics today, and I feel like this is this is exemplified best by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. What she managed to do, in pretty much, no one expected her to win, or most people had never even heard of her until she did win, and she managed to take out a 10-term Democratic incumbent, which is extremely difficult to do. Ask anyone, taking over from the incumbent is no easy job or easy feat. Now, Alexandria is being called a revolutionary, or fire-started, or radical, or fire-starter, sorry. I don't agree with any of these terms. I do not believe that Alexandria has started a revolution. I believe she's a byproduct of a revolution that had already started. And I will use the votes in, not Brexit in itself, but just in overall the British votes that they have been having recently. Now, a couple of years ago they had a vote on Brexit, and if you don't know what that is, first of all, congratulations and welcome out from underneath the rock that you have clearly been living under. And secondly, Brexit is the concept or idea that Britain will be separating from the European Union, which means they will have to create a new trade deal, they will have to create a new border policy, and they will have to create basically an entirely new governmental system when dealing with non-British citizens. And this includes people from Ireland, from Europe, and also from other neighbouring countries of that area. Brexit was decided upon mostly by the older generation. And what happened the next year is that the younger people took notice of the change that had happened and tried to fix it. And so when there was a snap election the next year, the Tory party lost most of their majority, the younger people had their say, and Labour got more seats in Parliament. Now, while it wasn't enough to change the outcome of the vote the previous year, it was a demonstration of just how powerful young people can be when they work towards a goal. When they all have something that they think that they can achieve, and when they put their minds to it, and when they all go out and they vote together. Now, I'm no political analyst. I can't predict the future. I'm not a seer, and I don't want to be one. But I can still predict one tiny little thing. Change is coming. And Alexandria may not be the cause of this change, but she is definitely going to help it forward. there is very little chance that she is not going to win her seat. She is in a largely Democratic district, running as a Democrat against a Republican. Now, one person does not a revolution make, and I don't think we all expect her to carry the entire revolution by herself. And, you know, she shouldn't. It's not her job. She cannot be, you know, representative of the entire generation. She is only the representative of her one district, and all the other districts have to make the same decision. They have to choose whether they want someone young and someone innovative to come in, or they want to continue with the same traditions that they have now, the same system that they have now, and just overall complacency, almost. Just because something has been happening for years does not make it right. Take education as an example. Education in America is costly, and I'm not entirely sure that it is as productive as people would have you believe. I will be attending a polytechnic next year, and I will be taking advantage of a new system enacted by our new youngish Prime Minister. Is that it's going to be called fees free, and basically for your first year, if you are enrolled at a certain level, your tuition or your fees will be free. It's why it's called fees free. It's a very simple concept and name. Now, I think they need to do something like this in America, but, you know, I'm not American, so I'm not entirely sure my opinion matters on this. However, I mentioned this as an example of change. Now, I'm not a radical person. I don't want there to be these massive sweeping changes to the way the governments are run across the world. I think there need to be tiny little adjustments made just to, you know, help propel the next generation along and help them be what they can be. I won't get into things like healthcare because that's not a specifically millennial or young person thing. It affects all people, while education does focus more on the younger generation. Like I said, I don't want there to be massive sweeping changes, but there does need to be changes, because the way governments are run now is that the opinions of the younger generation are largely ignored. And obviously when we get out to vote, we can change this, but we need all the young people to vote and have all their opinions heard, because not all young people think the same as me. I accept that. I don't think the same as all young people. In fact, I think quite weirdly compared to some people that I know. But that doesn't mean that I don't want their opinions to be heard as well. I want everyone's opinions to be heard, and to do that we all have to vote. So basically, this is a rallying cry to, particularly America. You have an election coming up very soon. Get out there and vote. All you young people, get out there and vote, because if you don't, you can't really complain if things don't go your way. If you don't have a say, you can't complain. It's as simple as that. Adios, amigos. I will see you again soon. This is Caleb Feline. Goodbye.